to another gun build in Modern Warfare 2022, I guess, or Modern Warfare 2. And for this one, I want to be going over the FTAC Recon, mostly because a lot of people don't really like the gun so much or don't really know how to build it. They don't really know to run the gun in fully automatic or, keep it in the standard default mode with semi-auto. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of the bigger brother to the Lockman 7.62. So there is two different categories that the battle rifles come in. There are the more heavy hitting battle rifles, which is the Lockman 7.62 and the FTAC Recon. These two can go into fully automatic, but they do have a potential of getting a one-shot headshot to a certain range, which isn't really that far. So these guns are more or less like a weird mix between an assault rifle and a DMR. But if you aim for the head, you're able to get yourself a one-shot kill in semi-automatic. If I swap to fully auto, when I shoot once there, obviously I get myself a headshot hit marker. So if you are in fully auto, you do less damage. That is more so for a panic tactic. If you have someone like running up on you and you know you won't be able to kill them in semi-auto, switch to full auto. It still shoots really slow, but it might give you a better chance of fighting guys up close. So that is more, again, like for a panic option if someone's running up on you. More or less like the last thing you want to be switching to. So up to a good like several meters. What is that, about like 10 to 20 maybe meters here, and I'll be able to get myself like a one-shot headshot. So I have the longest barrel on here, plus the best, or one of the best suppressors when it comes to range. And I've tuned them for maximum range, maximum bullet velocity, so they should be the best when it comes to actual maximum range. And even with that, I can't really seem to stretch out the one-shot headshot range further than this target right here. I can get myself a one-shot or a one headshot and the upper chest shot, or wait for him to come back up, or I can do two shots to the chest and I'll take him out like that. Even this guy all the way out here, if I aim towards the chest, 1, 2, take him out in 2 shots. So this is what this gun is supposed to be for. It's supposed to be a more stable DMR, but firing twice instead. So more so along the lines of being the lower version of the EBR-14. If I swap to that gun, I'll show you. So I think the only difference between the EBR and this gun is that the actual EBR has a further one-shot headshot. Yeah, all the way out there. So that's where the marksman rifle comes into play. He has a further one-shot headshot. 2 shots, 2 shots, 2 shots, no matter what, going all the way out. So that's the FTAC. It's supposed to be the little brother to the EBR-14, despite it not being inside the same platform. They kind of share the same family, I guess, or the same role in its respective category. And for this one, I gone ahead and put on the longest barrel, which is the very first option you get. It's the 419mm EXF, or I'm not really sure what that stands for, but the EXF barrel. And you don't need to do tuning, but I gone ahead and did this. I went for maximum damage range, recoil steadiness. Along with that, with the suppressor, which is full bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. And then, or this one I'm using is the NIL Sound 90, or NIL Sound 90. And it's, like I said, one of the best when it comes to actual range. And it's the very first suppressor you get right off the bat there. And it looks, personally, I think looks like one of the smoothest ones you can get. So I'll put that on there, and I just bumped up the bullet velocity, recoil smoothness. And after that, you want to go for the underbarrel, which is the FTAC Ripper. This will give you aiming stability, hip fire accuracy, and recoil stabilization. So it helps you out a little bit when it comes to close range or short range kind of gunshots with the hip fire accuracy. So that can help you out a little bit when you switch to full auto. Recoil stabilization just makes it to where your muzzle is able to drop down and recenter faster, and aiming idle stability, which is really good, especially when you tune it all the way out for that, so the gun doesn't move a muscle. If you tune that, that will get rid of all the sway. So I think the FTAC Ripper might be one of the best underbarrel attachments when I compare it to all the other ones here. Obviously, if you're running the bipod, that just removes sway almost altogether. It is incredibly useful for that, but you have to be mounted for that, so I just kind of went with the universal grip there. After that, I went with the Corio LAS. These things have some weird names to it. LAS 44 V3 laser, and this one will just give you aim down sight speed and aiming stability to help out even further with that idle sway. And the cons being laser visible to enemies, but it's not too bad at all. A lot of people don't really pay attention to that. And the scope, I'm just running a thermal one. That's just kind of the one I landed on at the time, but I do recommend a higher zoom optic, either for 4 times to anything higher if you want to run that. This is a larger build or larger range kind of build for a gun, so it is recommended for it to have higher magnification. So I'd probably recommend like running the HMW 20 optic. Has some real clean iron sight, or not iron sights, but a optic on there. That one is a bit weird though. If you don't want to run that, you can also run this one. What is it? The DS Farsight 11. So this one is actually one of my favorites. Despite me not knowing the name right off the bat. Okay, if it ever loads in. But it has a really good like red dot right in the dead center, real dang clean. As you can see, the visual recoil isn't that bad. Like, it doesn't really bounce a whole lot. Like, for the overall gun and the barrel, like, it doesn't really bounce up at all. The sight does a little bit, but you can still stay on target really well with it. And you practically have yourself a 2-tap DMR. You guys see the bullets jumping through that. It's kind of weird. So I think that does have a multiplier. You can do that as well, so it's actually working out really well with the actual recoil. So if you want to spam fire it really quickly, just aim for the general like upper chest area, and the barrel will rise up to the head, and you get yourself a 2-tap like that. So that's why I also went with that. So you guys can either control the recoil and get yourself a 2-shot to the chest, or you can just let your gun rip, and it'll actually from like this range to that range right here. If you're looking for the upper chest, which will be most of your gunfights in that area for 6v6, you'll easily get yourself a 2-tap, like 1 to the head, or 1 to the chest and 1 to the head. So if you guys are doing long shots or anything like that, that'll help you out. The recoil pattern is perfect. So there you guys go. That's the FTAC Recon. I recommend just following this build completely. The Farsight 11 scope seems to be one of the clears. This certain laser, I'm not going to try to pronounce that again. FTAC Ripper 56, the Nil Sound 90 suppressor, and the 419mm barrel. And if you guys want to tune it, you can. They don't really make that much of a difference unless you just tune all your attachments to going towards one type of stat. And that can actually help you out a little bit more, especially with the newer patch where they actually have greater pros to it. But yeah, so this is going to be one of the most preferred builds that you guys would want to be running for the FTAC Recon. Play towards its to its strengths. It is a way larger assault rifle for it being a battle rifle, almost there to being a marksman rifle, but not quite there. So let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.